Of course, again, many thanks for joining me. I'm William Evans Mutabazi. Security experts and specialists from around the world are gathering this Monday in Kigali for a three-day conference focused on the state of security in Africa. They will review the progress made in safeguarding peace on the continent and identify areas where challenges still exist in order to strengthen the efforts. Olive Nhete reports.
Rwanda is considered a country where people can move freely 24/7, both Rwandans and foreigners, many of whom are drawn by the country's various attractions, including tourism.
As a business person, I can confidently leave my products in a shop and sleep peacefully knowing that no one will come and steal from me. We have reliable security personnel and other trusted staff. I can move around freely and sometimes even leave my business open because I have full confidence in the security provided by our country.
And I say, okay, I want to go to Rwanda, and because also what we see on television about what's happened over here. So you have something in your mind. And I was really overwhelmed how well organized it is. And so tomorrow we go to the Grand Memorial and to volcanoes. And earlier in 2017, I was a guerrilla trekking I've already seen. But it's really amazing.
For people who are preparing for weddings, they often come at night, sometimes as late as 10 p.m. to the saloon. When they do, we sometimes leave work around midnight, but even at that hour, we never face any issues, whether on our way home or at the workplace.
Don't you see our security personnel serving peacekeeping missions in other countries? Would that be possible if we didn't have peace in our own country? That alone is a clear sign. When our security forces are deployed for peacekeeping abroad, it means we enjoy full security at home.
According to the security analyst Richard Nteziryayo, Rwanda stands out as the most fitting host for this conference, as it has made notable strides in security, while many other African countries are still working to strengthen their systems.
ahubwo se inama y'umutekano itabereye mu Rwanda niho handi yabera kuko
Where else could a conference on security be held if not Rwanda? Rwanda has demonstrated its ability to rise from immense challenges, arguably more than any other country in Africa. Today, Rwandans live in safety, work freely, and at our own pace without any obstacles. That alone is something to be proud of, considering how far we've come. In the broader African context, I'm glad to see that many African countries are waking up and coming together to find solutions to their own problems. If you continue in this direction, we will indeed build the Africa we want.
This coming Monday in Kigali, the International Security Conference on Africa is convening, bringing together experts from various sectors and countries across and beyond the continent. The Executive Secretary of the ISCA organization, Ambassador retired Lieutenant General Frank Mushokamanzi, says that this international conference will also address issues such as terrorism on the continent, the security infrastructure, cybersecurity, and more.
One of the things that we should be discussing is the cost of Africa being misrepresented or underrepresented, if you want, whereby people or organizations will want to define or present our continent in a way that is not. So one of the things, or one of the themes of discussion will be the cost of that and what can be done to properly represent Africa in the media space and other fora, so that Africa has its proper space and image, and that is our responsibility as a continent and other stakeholders to properly represent Africa. In addition to other areas such as countering the threat of terrorism, securing critical infrastructure against cyber security, among others.
The Rule of Law Index published by the World Justice Project recently ranked Rwanda as the most secure country in Africa and 26th globally based on its adherence to the rule of law. A report published by the United Nations in January 2025 shows that Rwanda ranks second globally in terms of contributing the largest number of military and police personnel to peacekeeping and security missions around the world. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive Nete. Now, Rwanda joined the global community in celebrating the International Day of Families, and at the national level, the occasion was marked through the Umugoroba Umuryango Family Evening Program, with the main event held in Kinyinya Sector, Gasabo District. The theme for this year's celebration is Positive Communication, the foundation of a strong family. During the event, several exemplary families from Kinyinya shared their inspiring stories, offering valuable lessons to help other households build strong bonds and overcome challenges. A 2024 study by the Rwanda Governance Board revealed persistent issues affecting Rwandan families, including domestic conflicts, harassment, abuse, polygamy, infidelity, gender-based violence, and disputes over property. Additionally, the study highlighted violation of children's rights, such as sexual abuse, teenage pregnancies, school dropouts, child homelessness, and child labor. The Minister of Family Affairs stressed that open and honest communication among family members is essential to building a resilient and safe families. By fostering a dialogue, families can collectively address problems and work towards development. The RGB research also identified drug abuse affecting nearly half of the families, accounting for 49.8%, and the negative impact of excessive technology use, especially among the youth, accounting for 27.3%, as significant challenges facing Rwandan families today. Now, in an exclusive interview with RBA, the Deputy Governor of the National Bank of Rwanda says that the country's financial sector remains stable, with the Rwandan francs showing strong performance. Listen in.
What I can confidently tell you is that our financial sector is very stable and strong. Our currency is very strong. If I can give you some numbers, for instance, regarding the exchange rate, it's true that sometimes people see the currency kind of fluctuating, but I can tell you that is the policy that we have taken. We have decided that our currency should be fluctuating because we didn't think it is proper, it is appropriate to fix it. Maybe we will have some time to discuss the problems of fixing it. But really, what I can tell you, the fluctuations that you see are things that were expected, given the policy of floating exchange rate that we have taken. And I can also tell you that we have enough reserves. Usually the International Monetary Fund recommends that countries have 4 months worth of imports in terms of dollars. I can tell you that at the end of December last year, we had reserves that are enough to sustain our current consumption for 5.2 months, which means really we were well above the recommended threshold by the IMF. And today, as we speak, we have reserves that are worth 4.7 months of imports. So that means if anything happens, if we are not allowed to import anything, for instance, if there is a crisis like we saw during COVID, we are able to sustain our consumption for 4.7 months. So we are really fine. The economy is good. The financial sector is very stable, as I said. The financial sector is continuing to provide credit to people. If I compare last year and today, the amount of loans that were provided to people, last year, the first quarter of last year, the banks provided about 500 billion Rwandan francs in loans. But when we look at the numbers for this quarter, it is around 650 billion. We do not have shortage in dollars. That's why I started by telling you the amounts of reserves that we have. And banks will tell you, we always intervene in the market. If we see that there is a problem, we are ready to just supply dollars to the market. We actually do it sometimes when we realize that there is an imbalance between supply and demand. Last week, I remember that we supplied $5 million to the market, not just because we were seeing that there is a shortage, but we also wanted to tell the industry that we are confident, we have enough reserves, so there is no need to panic. Really, inflation is also something that goes with the economy. As I said, we are thinking that for this quarter, for this year, inflation will be around 6.5%, which is really not bad as compared to the sub-Saharan African countries, where inflation is expected to be around 13.3%. So ours of 6.5% is manageable, I would say. And it doesn't make us panic because it is within the band that as central bank we have fixed ourselves. Our band is, we want inflation to be between 2 and 8%. So it is 6.5%. Of course, 6.5% is an average of all the products. People should expect that it could be 10% for one product, but it could also be 2% or even 0% for some other products. For instance, if I remember the numbers properly, when you looked at beans, we can see that in the last 3 months, the price is really it's kind of stable at around 1,200 francs a kilo. But potatoes, for instance, it has been fluctuating. So really, people need to also be aware of those fluctuations and probably be able to balance their diet, given how the prices are fluctuating in the market. But to be honest, I think we are fine. The average inflation is in our targets, but of course people need to expect that different products will move differently.
In Q1 of 2025, Rwanda's merchandise trade deficit widened sharply by 10.8%, driven by a 5.8% surge in imports and a 3.0% drop in exports. While rising imports may reflect growing domestic demand, the imbalance also signals pressure on the foreign reserves and the Rwandan franc, especially if exports continue to underperform. The deputy governor, however, noted that the trade deficit is not something worrying and explains why.
Sometimes we import things that probably we should not be importing. I have been explaining how our trade balance, I'm not worried about our current trade deficit. That's what I was explaining, because most of the things that we are buying from outside are capital goods that are going to help our economy to grow and to be more productive. Having said that, I think there are things that we import that probably we should not be importing, or maybe the consumption of which we could reduce. And I think I'm not the only one to think like that, because I saw recently the fiscal policy, the taxation policy that the Minister of Finance took recently, where like some of the products that were exempted, those exemptions were removed. I'm thinking like hybrid cars, which of course it was good when the policy was implemented, it was good. But sometimes you have to look at it and say, is it still important? So I think that's what the Minister of Finance looked at and decided probably it's no longer needed. But as you said, that mentality, we liked it when we imported it, but in a way of, in our efforts to reduce our trade deficit, I really loved that decision of removing those exemptions, because it is going to reduce our trade deficit. That's another good thing that you say that probably I'm going to have to link to the trade deficit as well. Because trade deficit would be bad if we are importing things, for instance, that are coming to make made in Rwanda less competitive. Because as we consume local, then we reduce the amount of forex that we need to buy foreign products. So yes, I think we need to change our attitude as well towards our Rwandan products, to not always think that Chinese products are the best or European products are the best, and be proud of who we are and be proud of our products, such as made in Rwanda.
The Deputy Governor on the stability of the financial sector of Rwanda. Now moving on, as Rwanda makes strides in building a knowledge-based economy that will position it as a regional hub for technology, the private sector continues to contribute to this goal by offering different upskilling opportunities, especially to youths. We do have a report on this. In the second phase of the National Strategy for Transformation, NST2, which will conclude in 2029, Rwanda aims to train at least 1 million coders and have 500 people trained in advanced ICT skills. As part of NST2, the private sector is encouraged to host interns and upskill them through their institutions. It's within this context that the private company Satol took 100 students from IPRC Judiciary and trained them on the functioning of speed governors, GPS track systems, and telematic technologies used to remotely monitor vehicle performance via mobile phones. This initiative was well received by these students.
It's like the theoretical knowledge. You get to know and see things. If it's say colors of wires, you just don't know the colors theoretically. You get to see them and use in real practice. This helps us to transform our theoretical knowledge into practical applications depending on the demand on the market.
As a student, I could be having a project in plan, but lack the capacity to bring it to life. We have been able to interact with technicians, and I was able to ask questions and seek clarity on some questions I've always been asking myself. Rwanda aims to build a knowledge-based economy that will position it as a regional hub for technology. The private sectors at Satol Limited explain the reason behind the decision to help young people enhance their digital skills.
They're at a level where they have both the willingness and ability to also make a contribution on what we offer to Rwandans. As Satol Rwanda Limited, our desire is to continue working with these students so that we can help them apply their knowledge and skills and contribute towards preventing road accidents.
The Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Dr. Edouard Ngirente, noted that technology is expected to help the country reach its economic targets by 2035 and 2050.
As the government of Rwanda, we recognize the significance of science, technology, and innovation in all sectors, on all fields, as crucial drivers for promoting social welfare and sustainable development in the country. Aligned with our Vision 2050, science is expected to play a key role in Rwanda's journey towards becoming an upper middle-income country by 2035 and a high-income country by 2050, ensuring high standards of living for all Rwandans. Rwanda aims at building a knowledge-based economy, and to achieve this goal, we have strategically invested in the entire education system at all levels, from primary education, secondary education, to higher learning institutions. Our goal is to keep developing our human capital by providing comprehensive trainings in different fields of science.
By 2029, Rwanda has set a target for 100% of its population to be digitally literate, up from the current 53%.
In more news, in Rwanda district near the Rwanda-Uganda border, residents enjoy peaceful coexistence, united by shared culture and history. In a Rusenyi village, Chilinga Sel, Kagongo sector, the border is visible. One step places you in Rwanda, the next in Uganda's Murora. Yet in places like Gahenerezo Trading Center, the border fades in daily life. Traders and buyers move freely between countries, using the same buildings and speaking the same language. Elder Virusha Elesmas, 80, was born in Uganda but identifies with Rwandan heritage. He recalls how the colonial era borders drawn at the 1884 to 1885 Berlin Conference split families and communities. Despite that, residents credit the good relation between both governments for their harmony today. Recent developments like electricity and water supply from Rwanda's side now benefit both communities. Breda District Mayor Mukama Nasolin encourages residents to continue respecting border laws even as they remain closely connected.
We have the Chanika border, which they are required to use, but they requested access to another border, the Buheta border in Kivuye sector. On our side, Rwanda was responsible for building the necessary infrastructure, and we have completed that. Additionally, in Kabare district, we've been working together, and they are fulfilling their part, but they are also doing well, and they are productive in their agricultural activities.
Breda district has 46 villages, 14 cells, and 6 sectors bordering Uganda in the district of Kisoro, Rwanda, and Kabare. Residents of Ruhango district gathered to honor victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi as part of the 31st commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi. The ceremony brought together communities from Mwendo, Bimana, Ruhango, and Bweramana sectors. And during the event, 45 bodies were laid to rest at Ruhango Genocide Memorial, including one newly discovered body. Survivors emphasized the importance of continued effort to locate and properly bury all victims. Environment Minister Dr. Uwamaria Valentin called on Rwandans to preserve unity, fight a genocide ideology, and reject all forms of divisionism. The Ruhango Memorial now holds 22,264 bodies, a solemn reminder of the district's tragic past. During Kwibuka 31st commemoration in Nyamirambo sector, Nyarugenja district, genocide survivors expressed gratitude for the country's good governance, which they say has restored their hope and enabled progress over the past 31 years. Mukeshimana Jean-Marie Vienne, who lost his sight due to the genocide, shared how government support has empowered him to contribute to national development despite his disability. Dr. Amil Murugwanashyaka, president of Ibuka in Nyamirambo, reaffirmed the survivors' commitment to fighting genocide denial and distortion. Member of Parliament Anastase Nabahire assured full protection for survivors, condemning recent threats and killings targeting survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi in some areas. At the heart of the remembrance was St. Charles Rwanga Catholic Church, where many Tutsi who sought refuge during the genocide were brutally killed.
nk'umukozi wa sosiyete. Turakwibutsa ko buri sosiyete isabwa n'itegeko kubika ibitabo bya sosiyete ndetse no gushyikiriza RDB amakuru abikubiyemo. Ibyo bitabo birimo igitabo cy'abanyamigabane, icy'abagenewe inyungu ku migabane, inyandiko y'amakuru ya sosiyete, ibaruramari ngarukamwaka n'izindi. Gutanga amakuru y'ugenewe inyungu ku migabane wanyura kuri bo.rdb.rw, naho gutanga izindi nyandiko ukanyura kuri org.rdb.rw.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inkimwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko ntashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Welcome back, and RTV News continues with international news. Pope Leo XIV has met Ukrainian President Zelensky after his inaugural Mass in Vatican, where he delivered a message of love and unity to a crowd of 200,000 pilgrims. Al Jazeera with more.
He first went around St. Peter's Square in the Pope Mobile, greeting and blessing faithful and pilgrims. The image of a pope for the people, the vulnerable, in the footsteps of his predecessor, Pope Francis. Then the Mass, attended by 200 foreign delegations, headed by the Italian President Sergio Mattarella and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Seated next to them, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and Peruvian President Dina Boluarte. The Mass marks the official beginning of Leo XIV's papacy. He was given the pallium, a white sash made of wool that symbolizes the bishop as a good shepherd, and the fisherman's ring. These are early days, and officials and people alike are gradually discovering who the new pope is.
When he first appeared on the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, many in the square were surprised that the cardinals had chosen a pope from the United States of America. But that was quickly forgotten, as many say that the most important is to understand the vision Leo XIV has for the Catholic Church.
Among the 150,000 attending, Shannon Helen from Memphis, Tennessee, who happened to be in Rome.
Well, I'm strongly against abortion, and so I really liked what he said yesterday about that it is a sin and that it should be abolished, and so I'm very proud to say that my Pope believes in that. So yeah, I'm hopeful for the future.
Many here, like Gladys Germany, hope Leo will follow in the path of Pope Francis.
Because we need that. We need that. We need the church to evolve and to just go on like we are all evolving, and for the peace for everybody.
The Pope's first words when he was elected were a call for world peace.
I bambini, le famiglie, gli anziani.
He ended his official Mass calling for an end to the war in Ukraine and to the suffering and starvation of the Palestinians in Gaza. Hud Abdelhamid, Al Jazeera, Vatican City.
And now that report brings us to the end of tonight's edition, but of course before we go, let's have a look at the headlines one more time. Security experts and specialists from around the world are gathering this Monday in Kigali for a 3-day conference focused on the state of security in Africa. Rwanda joined the global community in celebrating International Day of Families. And on the international scene, Pope Leo XIV has met Ukrainian President Zelensky after his inaugural Mass in the Vatican, where he delivered a message of love and unity to a crowd of 200,000 pilgrims. course, we've come to the end of our bulletin tonight, and thank you for always trusting RBN News. I am William Evans, and from me and the entire team, have a great week ahead. Good luck and good night.